Well, don't panic tomorrow when your smartphone lets out a loud screech. The test will include wireless emergency alerts in addition to television and radio. This a test of the federal emergency alert system. You should also receive text messaging telling you that it's only a test. The emergency system has been used locally on various occasions, particularly by the sheriff's office, warning residents of particularly dangerous situations or shootings.
It's a way for us to put an important information or message out to the public on something that relates to their safety and give them brief informational instructions on what they need to do when confronted for what that situation is.
The federal government's planning a nationwide test of that system at 1:20 p.m. our time.